Hello, hello, my internet friends. Welcome to the stream. We are starting post Stormblood today. I'm so excited. Ugh, we're so close. We are so close. It's only... Oh, let me look it up. We're only 40 quests away from Shadowbringers. That is amazing. Okay, let's... Let's get on with it then. Yep, right. Whoop. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Again, welcome, welcome. Let's start. Let's see, Monaco, you got anything to say? We bought this freedom with blood, that of our friends and our enemies. I'll be damned if we're going to give it up again. Peace. Arnvald's adventure. He seems troubled.
Come to see how we're getting on? We've made good progress since we took back Ala Mhigo, but there's one big issue we still have to address. Leadership.
Oh?
The Domans had Lord Hien ready and willing to take the throne, but we've got no one like that here.
What about you?
Theodoric was our last ruler, and he wasn't called the Mad King for nothing.
Suffice it to say, our people have had their fill of kings, which means we need to find a new way forward.
Yeah?
If only it were that easy. Everyone and his uncle has an opinion. For the time being, we're just going to have to keep leaning on General Aldin and the Alliance for support, and see if we can't find a solution together. Something tells me we're going to be hosting a lot of meetings in the near future. But if that's what it takes, I'm ready to talk till my jaw aches.
Aww.
The reach is yours, Nago. Don't do anything I wouldn't.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Oh?
Ah, there you are. I've been searching all over for you. Don't worry, it's nothing bad. That said, this might not be the best place to talk. Will you join me?
Sure.
I'll get to the point. Might you be interested in a spot of adventure?
Adventure?
After all, we were adventurers before we were scions, were we not?
Yeah?
After routing the Imperials and liberating Ala Mhigo, I reckon we've earned a bit of respite, don't you? And what better way to spend it than by returning to our roots? So, what say you? Shall we call on Alphino and go adventuring?
Alphino? Why Alphino? Twist my arm, why don't you? You're doing that. Arnvald? Right then, let's go and find Master Levier. Actually, leave that to me. I want you fresh for our little adventure. Wait for us by the Aetheryte, and we'll be along shortly. See you there. adventure. Wonder what adventure Arnwald has up his sleeve. Oh, maybe these guys know. Do you? Yeah. Seems I'll be serving as the contact between Ala Mhigo and the Scions for the time being. Naturally, my duties will also include spying on beastmen strongholds. Volta? Now that freedom is won, we'd be fools to let it slip through our fingers. Though mayhap not on the front lines, I will lend what support I can to our Ala Mhigan brothers and sisters. Okay. Their destination? But greetings, Somimi. 'Twould seem we are to accompany Arnwald on some manner of escapade. Have you any idea what we've gotten ourselves into? Not a clue. Allow me to explain. It'll be something of a history lesson, but I'll try to be brief. No snoring, if you please. Now, the events I would speak of occurred before the occupation, back when Ala Mhigo was still a monarchy and Theodoric sat at the throne. A uniquely brutal despot, by all accounts. That he was, the King of Ruin suffered no rivals, real or imagined, and his dispute with the monks of the Fist ended with Ralgar's Reach being burned to the ground. In the latter years of his rule, he was seized by the unshakable belief that unseen forces were conspiring to steal his crown, and so he ordered that every soul with a claim to the throne be executed, including his own family. The wealth of the poor sods he put to death became the property of the king, and it's said that these royal treasures were hoarded somewhere in the palace. Thus was born the legend of the Mad King's Trove. Ah, I believe I see the direction our adventure is to take. I assume you have a mind to unearth this hidden bounty. You assume correctly. And would I also be correct in assuming that this legend is widely known? Others may surely have gone in search of your prize, tempting as it seems. Well, of course we won't be the first to make the attempt. Following Ala Mhigo's liberation, more than a few eager soldiers turned the palace upside down in hopes of claiming an easy fortune. But even after scouring every room from dawn till dusk, they uncovered not a single coin. Their gold lust drained away as quickly as it had come, and the legend of the Mad King's Trove remains simply that, a legend. But I see you have no intention of letting the story end there. What self-respecting adventurer would? Imagine, the three of us, delving into a decades-old mystery. Tell me the thought doesn't set your heart racing. I like the sound of it. You have learned the emote box. Okay. Arnwald? If anyone can find that treasure, it's us. But even if we don't, the adventure will be reward enough, I reckon. Alphino? The darkness below. You can almost see what the wheels and turning in Alphino's head. I get some weird. The news of Doma and Ala Mhigo's liberation has kindled the flames of revolution in every corner of the Empire. I hear the imperial province of Dalmasca has already risen up in rebellion. Which means the Garleans must surely have their hands full. What better time than now to indulge in such a diversion? Tell us, Arnwald, have we any clues as to where we might begin our search? Well, judging by how the other treasure hunters fared, nosing about the palace isn't like to get us anywhere. So we'll probably need to, ask around? Would that be another way of saying no? Well, yes. I see in that case. I shall pay a visit to the allied archivists and request access to the records seized from the Imperials. The Garleans are meticulous about such things. If they uncovered the trove during their occupation, the event is certain to have been recorded. In the meantime, the two of you can track down those who worked as palace servants and officials in Theodoric's day. Given that they would have been at least 20 at the time, you will be looking for people who have seen 40 summers or more. Anything they can tell you about the king and his bloody deeds may prove useful, so be sure to listen well. Arnvald, pray try your luck in the fringes and the peaks, while Somimi makes the rounds in the Ala Mhigo quarter. Ha! And there I was thinking I was the party leader. Not that I mind, of course. Let's be about it, eh? We can meet afterwards at Gilbard's Gate. Second, guys. Check on online. Back to it. The Ala Mhigo quarter, eh? Okay. Yeah, someone to talk to? Middle-aged Highlander. In the palace? No, not me, lass. Surely you've heard stories of the Mad King. He used to hold public executions up on the divine audience. Anyone, and I mean anyone, suspected of conspiring against the crown was flung from the top of those steps. Suffice it to say that I stayed as far away from the palace as possible. Okay. Let's see, where else do we need to go? This way? Mature maid. You want to hear an old maid's stories, do you? Aye, well, most of what I know of the Mad King is common knowledge. We'd only see His Royal Majesty when he deigned to attend the executions he ordered. And after a while, even watching his enemies die wasn't enough to coax him out of hiding. They say he started seeing assassins in every shadow, and wouldn't set foot outside the palace walls. I was offered work there as a royal servant once, but the mere thought of it left me in a cold sweat. Having much luck finding people. This last person will have some information. Tired Rogadin. I served at the pleasure of King Theodoric, and lived to tell the tale. One of the palace guards I was. Truth be told, it was a dark chapter in my life, and one I'd sooner forget. Hardly a night went by when we didn't hear blood-curdling screams echoing from the inner chambers, which, of course, we were under orders to ignore. So we'd stand still as statues, trying not to imagine what horrors were unfolding within. Sigh. If you're hell's-bent on finding out what happened in the palace, head down the street here and ask old Arnold? He was the king's head scribe. Oh, Arnold? Yes, I am Arnold. What do you want with me? You would have me dredge up some decidedly unsavory memories? Yet if Ala Mhigo is to move forward, we must needs acknowledge the misdeeds of the past. Very well. I shall tell you what I remember. I take it you know of Theodoric's paranoia and the public executions of his kinsmen. Those were terrible enough, but in his last days the king's fevered mind settled upon an even grislier method of disposal, which only a chosen few were unfortunate enough to witness. His Majesty ordered the court thaumaturge to unleash a vile curse upon the remaining members of the royal family, a magic which transformed them into a hideous aspect. The resulting monstrosities were then cast into the darkness below the palace. Even now, my sleep is troubled by nightmares. If others of Theodoric's blood were prone to share his madness, then mayhap it is a kindness that the monarchy ended with him. Okay. There's a very large dungeon or something underneath the palace? That sounds fun. Let's go explore. Alphino? Ah, excellent timing as ever. We have but this moment returned from our own intelligence gathering efforts. Since we're all here, why don't we share what we've learned? Allow me to begin, then. As promised, I scoured the Imperial records for any mention of fantastic treasures, and found precisely none. It is just possible, I suppose, that a corrupt official deliberately hid the fact of the trove's discovery, hoping to enrich himself, but I find it rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. I conclude that our prize either does not exist, or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. But what of you, Somimi? Were your investigations any more fruitful? Yeah, I found a guy who said there's a giant dungeon. Turned into monsters? What could he mean by this darkness beneath the palace, I wonder? I met an old man in Alighieri who spoke of the palace's subterranean prison, but he said not of cursed abominations. The Imperial archives were also silent on the subject of fiends inside the palace grounds. Could this scribe fellow have been spinning her a yarn, do you think? Did you believe him, Somimi? Fear seemed genuine. He was afraid that does lend credence to the tale, though I'm not sure how that helps us in our search. Do not be so hasty. Arnold's anecdote may very well have told us where the trove is hidden, but ere I share my theory, there is a matter I would clarify. Arnwald, you spoke of light-hearted adventure, but I sense a deeper motive for this expedition. Why are you so intent on finding this treasure? It wasn't all pretense, I swear it, but you're right. My father was in the Imperial Army, a man of Garlean blood. I trust you know what I mean when I say that my Ala Mhigan mother did not welcome my arrival. As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that a spot on my skin was an emerging third eye, like the kind you see in pure-blood Garleans. My mother did not care for this taunting reminder of my heritage, and took up a knife. War paint serves to cover the scar. In the end, she turned me out into the street, and I was left to haunt the alleyways of Ala Mhigo, a feral child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. The best I can say about the years that followed is that I survived, but I hated the animal I'd become. Eventually I left the city behind me, and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and that road led me into the company of the Scions. I tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well what poverty and hunger can do to a person. I drew steel on ordinary folk for a measly crust of bread. With the Theodoric's gold, I could spare my countrymen the shame of living like that. Thank you, Arnwald, and I apologize. That cannot have been pleasant to recall, but I felt it best to be clear in our intentions. Well, Somimi, are you content to surrender the treasure to Arnwald's noble cause and claim the thrill of adventure as your reward? That's all I was ever here for. Then I should be glad to tell you my theory on the resting place of the Mad King's trove, and if you are minded to hear it. Okay. Bending, slaying, aiming, heating, casting. Ba, 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 ba. See what this gear looks like. No, it's accessories. I thought it was sexual. other stuff. This is fine. There we go. Arnvald? Well, out with it. What's this theory of yours? Alphino? The Mad King's Trove. Alphino seems eager to share his theory. Actually, mayhap it would be better if we first adjourned to a more suitable location. In case a rival treasure hunter overhears our plans, you mean? Good thinking. That was not exactly the reason, but 'tis certainly a valid concern. Let us reconvene on the southern edge of Lochseld. Aether current? I know. Here we go. Okay. Yep. Down this way, I guess. We're just gonna go. Nighttime is so pretty in this. Go. Arnvald? Come now, Alphino. Don't leave us in suspense. Let's hear this theory of yours. Alphino? Forgive me, 'twas not my intention to draw out proceedings. I simply wished to have the lock in sight while I explained things. Prior to the great flood of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, the salt lakes you see before you were yet dry ravines, and this, believe it or not, was the site of the ancient city of Scala, which rose and fell during the Fifth Astral Era. From what we know of the period, the city was already deserted by the time the waters began to rise, having been all but destroyed by war, yet its ruins remain to this day at the bottom of Lochseld. It is my belief that the darkness beneath the palace, mentioned by Theodoric's former scribe, was not a reference to the prison, but to a place still further below, the ruins of Scala. I further surmise that the Mad King's unfortunate kinsmen were cast down there not simply out of a desire to punish them, but to discourage exploration. Theodoric wanted to keep the ruins secure. Wait, you're saying they were meant to guard the Mad King's trove? Precisely. And since we know the court thaumaturge was involved, we can safely assume that any entrance into the old city will have been magically concealed. Which would explain how a legion of Imperial soldiers and the gods know how many Ala Mhigans never found a trace of the trove. We, however, have certain advantages which they did not enjoy. Somimi, would you be so good as to swim down to the bottom of the loch and search for an underwater route into the ruins? While you do that, Arnvald and I will seek out an ensorcelled portal within the palace. Okay. Down we go. There's a whole city freaking down here. Yep. You discover a passage that appears to lead under the palace foundations. Press on and find out where it goes. Okay. Getting tight. Oh, there's a door. can move it? Come to a worn stone door, standing temptingly ajar. It would appear you have found an entrance into the subterranean ruins. Link Pearl. Somimi, it's Alphino. We have searched the prison beneath the palace, and found a door concealed by enchantments. Have you aught to report? I also found a door. You believe it leads into the ruins? Excellent. Then I propose we proceed from our respective entry points, and look to meet somewhere in the middle. Oh, come on, you two. We might as well make it a race. Victory goes to the first adventurer to find the treasure. Godspeed. Oh, it's a duty. Wasn't expecting a duty so soon. Okay. Ground City, Ala. Got a 7-minute wait. I want to explore down here. Didn't get to very much earlier. If there's any interest. Tidbits. Stuff. Places. It's all the same. Sort of a salt rock. City. Oh. Over here. Giant droid statue. Probably a Ralgar. Tavern. With glowy rocks. Always fun finding weird stuff in the environment. Now, of course, my lore brain would love an explanation, but sometimes it's good not to have an explanation. Might be it for down here. Yeah, I bet Ala Mhigo is the main purveyor of salts throughout Eorzea. So much salt. I mean, I have to assume it's salt because it's all like white. God, this so big. Is that a tunnel I spy? It's good to see you, Cassius. How are you doing today? Let's go somewhere. The High Bank. Oh, you meant actual, like, miners. Oh, right. I keep forgetting about the crafting classes. Oop. Green. You get back to your work. Another cave. With just some monsters in it. I wish I could fly. I wonder if you could fly out of here. But you can. Should look for Aether Current, probably. I should be doing waiting. Get back out to the main map. Maybe I can find some. I hope we'll see more water areas as the game goes on. I always find them so fun in games. I don't know, something about the exploration of underwater areas just... how to describe it? I don't know, like... It's so cool, because I guess it's something I can't do, like, in real life. Much too scared. Small spaces. see, where's the closest aether current? To the south. What you smiling about? You know all the things, Cassius. Or northwest. Did I pass it? Oh, I did. It's up high. It's up high. Never am looking. Oh, you're gonna remind me when I get there. Okay. Get up there. This has gotta be one of the most, like, maze-like areas in the game. I just want to be able to fly so I don't have to go through the maze. Now it wants me to go east. I'm gonna figure out how to get to the one I saw earlier. Got another deep abyss, so we're still just waiting on a tank and a healer. That's the way it goes. Nope. So many aether currents to get. Yeah, got it. Now we're southwest. Ah. Gonna have to go back up. Yep. All the way back we go. Where are my healer? I go in here. It's on the other side. Giant dark clay beast. Probably attack me, but nothing else. In that area. There's our cue. Ooh, this place is pretty. And also creepy, because creepy underwater things. Good time. Summon Garuda. Horsey boss looks at what it's casting. Oh, look at what it's casting? Okay, I'll try to do that. That's a fun effect. Water over steps. For the advice, Cass. I'll try to remember it. Big pools. Oh. Here's the horsey boss. Helpy! What a cute name. Oh, let's get on the platform. Rising Seas. Oh, hello. Hydro pool. Oh. Wanna go away? What? There you go. Push. We want to be close this time. Thanks, Cass. Trying my best. Yay! Beat it. No gear for me today. Oh. Right in here. And go, throw in somewhere else. Stone. Bobats? Not really sure how to say that name. Ouch. Yeah. Oh. That's a lot of things. Eat the old one. That's ominous. Oh. Ah! Oh, whoops. Okay. That's what you meant by crystals. Ah! That was close. Okay. Start moving? Nope. There we go. Oh. Okay. There we go. Oh. Oh, yes. Give me that. And nope. Oh, like we found the treasure. Man, there's a lot of stuff in here. Oh! What? Oh. Interesting. Why would he transform? I mean, I guess to fly, but like, why is... I don't know. Seems so silly. Oh my. That guy's creepy looking. Wobble wobble? Oh. Did they kill the thing? Going to give me an AoE? Okay. Oh. final boss. Roderick Poison Tongue. Summon Secret. Here we go. There we go. Boy. Oh. You have become Sterida. Okay, I'm good again. Ouch. Woo! I see what that's what you mean by like a visual cue. Ouch. There we go. Oh, why do I look sad? Just because they were victims. Don't need it. Okay. Have to go. Player command. Yay! Nope. What did they do? It fell through the
Bugger it.
floor? Ceiling?
Are you all right?
Aye. Aye. Everything's still attached.
Ah, it seems both our paths led here. Very good.
I don't know what
We
your
spent
path.
altogether too much time fleeing fiends horrid and numerous. How fared you?
I mean, I fought the fiends.
Much the same then. 'Twould appear this place is yet inhabited by King Theodoric's kin, or what is left of them. The work of terrible magics, I fear.
Terrible, aye. But their misfortune is our fortune?
Is it?
Quite. By the 12, there is even more than I imagined.
Yeah, there is a lot here. Way too much.
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on Lisa's face. Thanks for believing in me, you two.
Here we are. Arnvald. Our path was dark, treacherous, and fair crawling with abominations. Long story short, it was a proper adventure. Alphino? Arnvald and I forged ahead at the fastest pace we could manage, but I was not surprised to find you waiting for us. I suppose it serves us right for challenging the Warrior of Light. Next time we should agree on some manner of handicap. If you must. Aye, we may have lost, Alphino, but think of what we found. Quite, I'm still reeling at the sight of that mountain of riches. What? Like how you reeled at the sight of that floating specter, you mean? You should have heard him scream, Somimi. Must we dwell on such momentary lapses? We found the Mad King's trove, and that is all that matters. Arnvald. No, I've been reading a lot of his, like, I would always go and talk to Arnvald back in the Waking Sands. So it's really nice to see him become, like, a full proper character. Voice lines and everything. First Justinian and now Arnvald. It would seem there is much amusement to be had at my expense. Honestly, I might as well go adventuring with Alice. Oh, that's great. Arnvald, the butcher's blood. Arnvald is still grinning at Alphino's discomfort. All jesting aside, we must tell people the good news, and I think Lise should be the first. Seconded. There is to be a meeting of representatives from across Ala Mhigo, so she is sure to be in the city. Shall we seek her out? You'll find Lise. There we go. Peace. Oh, you three look pleased with yourselves. What have you been up to? I'm glad you asked, Lise, and I'm pretty sure you're going to like the answer. You're joking! The Mad King's trove! I thought it was a myth! So did plenty of people, but they didn't have Somimi and Alphino in their party. The credit for finding it should really go to them. As for what to do with it all, I vote that it go towards alleviating the suffering of Ala Mhigo's poor. Gods, if there's as much as you say. Arnvald did not exaggerate, I assure you. We could not hope to carry even a fraction of it on our own. I have taken the liberty of sketching out a rough map of the ruins. If you will assemble a squad of your most trusted freedom fighters, they should be able to follow the route to where the treasure lies. Understood. I'll make sure every coin is accounted for, and that goes for the spending of it as well. Thank you. Oh, there is one other thing. When the time comes to draw up a plan for distributing the spoils, I would ask that you consult Alphino. I don't have a head for details. I'm not educated. I see that simply handing out sacks of gil won't solve everything, but I couldn't rightly tell you what to do instead. Oh, I know the feeling. I'd welcome any advice you could give us, Alphino. Of course, I shall be at your disposal. Commander, we've got a problem. Uh-oh. Deep breaths. Tell me what's happened. A mob's gathered outside headquarters, and they've started making demands. You'd best come and see for yourself. Mob? Oh, gosh.
Step back, all of you!
Like hells we will! We know who you've got in there!
We're not leaving till you hand her over!
Bring her out! Bring her out!
What's going on?
Someone let slip about Fedora.
Oh.
It's true then! The bitch really is in there! I knew it! I bloody knew it! We demand vengeance! Bring her out! Today we butcher the butcher!
Come on, you don't mean that! We'd be no better than the Imperials if you'd all just calm down!
Calm down! That monster and her thrice damned skulls dragged my man from our home and beat him to death in the street!
Aye! And my dad! That bitch has spilt enough blood to fill a lock!
We all know her crimes. She's a traitor and a murderer. How many of your resistance friends have died at her hands, eh? And here you are, protecting her!
So that's what all the fuss is about.
Rabat?
Hearken to me, brothers and sisters of Ala Mhigo.
Everyone
who's
shuts
this?
up when he comes. What do you mean?
That's the bull of Ala Mhigo.
Right.
My friends, you are not alone in your anger, your grief, your despair, for it is mine as well. That gnawing pain in your breast, it is enough to bring an old bull to his knees. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, to think not only of the family and friends who were cut down before your very eyes, but to think also of the ones who were abducted, the ones who may yet live. Where were they taken? What became of them? These questions demand answers. I share your thirst for justice, for vengeance. But we will gain only fleeting satisfaction if we give in to our base appetites. We will never know the truth. Now is the time that we, the people of Ala Mhigo, must decide what manner of nation we will build for ourselves, and for generations yet unborn. When they look to our example, Will they see a people who held fast to their principles? Or one who cast them aside when tried? I say to you, it is our responsibility to give these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer to all of Ala Mhigo. The Garleans called us savages, and I'll be damned if we prove them right.
I know you're right, I do, but I can't.
Oh. Sounds so good. It's got probably the best speaking ability of any of the leaders. Though I do love Marweb. Now for now. Fordola and her skulls may have aspired to be Imperial citizens, but they were born Ala Mhigan. To their countrymen, they are traitors of the worst kind. Arnvald? Butcher has much to answer for, but to simply drag her from her cell and slaughter her in the street, General Alden is right. Naga? Thank the gods General Alden arrived when he did. Any later and we would have had a riot on our hands. Arbon? After 20 years of Imperial rule, 'tis no surprise that people should seek a target for all their pent-up rage and grief. I only wish I knew the solution. Nice? My thanks for Alban. Listening to their anger, I could feel myself being swept away. 'Tis a difficult tide to stem. 'Twas that same rage which brought us to our feet and carried us to victory. But now that the war is over, all the unspent fury is being channeled into vengeance. Aye, and it's not just here. We've reports of mobs forming all over. They've been targeting folk known to have cooperated with the Garleans. It starts with insults most often, then someone picks up a stone. Some industrious souls even thought to seek out the graves of Xenos and his officers. It was grim. I want to build a country where everyone, regardless of race or origin, can live side by side in peace. But maybe the time isn't right. Maybe the people just aren't ready. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try. The representatives will be here soon, and I'll be damned if I'm going to give up before I've even begun. Who are these representatives, exactly? Oh, village elders, refugee leaders, and the like. It wouldn't be right for us to dictate the nation's future on our own, so we've planned a summit of sorts. We've even invited the Ananta and the Kirkin to participate. Ala Mhigo stands at a crossroads, and this meeting will decide which path it takes. The matter of Fordola's sentence cannot be suffered to disrupt the proceedings. Then let's execute her and be done with it. She herself asked to be put to death. Nago, I already explained why we wouldn't do that. Sending her to the gallows might satisfy people right now, but where would it end? Should we round up everyone who cooperated, and everyone who didn't resist? There would be no one left, and it would be no better than Theodoric, and Xenos. Begging your pardon, but might I be allowed to speak with Fordola? Only I caught a glimpse of her past. A moment of it, anyway, during the fight. She's done terrible things, aye, unforgivable things, but in some ways she's a victim of the circumstances in which she was born. That's something I can understand. Alright, speak with the prison guard when you're ready, and I'll come and join you. I want to talk to her too. I'll return to my other duties then. We've barely begun to investigate the facility where they gave Fordola her powers. Be fairly warned, friends. She will test you. Don't let your emotions color your judgment when she does. Peace. Speak with the guard and we'll all go in together. Nago? I think it's best if I stay outside and keep watch for troublemakers. After what that woman did to Mefred and Commander Kemp, I'd struggle not to throttle her. Enough now? If you will have me, I have a mind to attend this interview as well. Ironvolt? I have no great wish to save Ferdola, even if I could. But there's more to her than meets the eye, I'm sure of it. Prison guard? Give the commander's permission to enter then? Go.
Well, well, well. So many visitors. Come to have a good laugh, have you? Or do you mean to put me out of my misery? To finish what you started? It's about bloody time.
That's not why we're here, no. Do you remember what I said? How I promised you you'd live long enough to see us win our freedom? Well, I meant it. And not to mock you either.
You're wasting your time. All of this is pointless! There's no reason to keep me alive, and you know it! I killed your men. I killed my men! And you know what my only regret is? That I didn't kill you when I had the chance!
That's a lie, and you know it! You think we can't tell what you're trying to do? That we're blind? Yeah, you're a fool, but you're not stupid. You're ruthless. Relentless. You'd give up anything and everything to get what you want. You didn't come this far, climbing over the bodies of your own brothers and sisters just to piss it all away. I see you, Ferdola. I see you for what you are.
Yep. Now I'm gonna see. She's a baby.
Come along, Ferdola. We mustn't be late. The Imperial Viceroy will be attending today's banquet.
All right! Father, what's Lord Gaius like? Is he nice? Are you friends?
There you go again with all your questions. Lord Gaius is a great and honourable man who looks after all of Ala Mhigo. He's very busy, and if we don't hurry, we'll miss our chance to see him.
Filthy tin-head lovers.
Father, what did that man call us?
The little tin-head lover doesn't know what she is, eh? A traitor, sweetheart. A backstabbing bitch who'd gladly betray her kith and kin to gnaw on what few scraps the Imperials deign to toss her. Like your bastard father and whore mother.
That's not true! My parents are good people! They've never done anything like that!
Oh, but they were quick to help themselves and their bitch spawn, weren't they? You're just as guilty as them.
Fadola!
Traitors!
Please! You have to do something! My husband and daughter are in danger!
Soldiers of the Imperial Army are under no obligation to intervene in the disputes of arms.
We're citizens! We have rights! I'm scared.
It's all right. It's all right. They don't understand, but they'll see in time. They'll see that this is the only way to survive. Traitors! Traitors!
Let the savages have their fun. They'll be more compliant once they've tired themselves out.
Fadola, please! You already have citizenship. Why would you want to become a soldier? Oh, gods! What have you done to your face?
Forgotten it already, have you? I'm honoring Father's memory.
By telling the world that you know better than a common savage.
Am I though, Mother? Are any of us? Can't you see? Citizenship means nothing to them. If you're not a pure-blood Garlean, you're no different from any other savage. So I'll play the part. I'll join the Legion and I'll make them respect me. And when the mob see that, they'll think twice before throwing their stones. Ansfrid, Rudolph, Emlyn. It's time. It'll be hard. Humiliating. They'll try to break us. Send us crawling back to our own kind. But we won't, no matter what. We'll bleed for them, die for them if we have to. We'll do whatever it takes to be free!
Where did that get you, though? I sort of have to wonder, like... Why go through all of it?
So, you mean to play the part one last time, eh? The unrepentant traitor whose death will serve to unite the people?
Shut up.
You had every chance to kill yourself. Fashion a noose from your clothes. Wait for the guards to leave you alone long enough to slip it over your neck.
I said shut up!
Oh, but then it would have all been for nothing, wouldn't it? Whatever it takes. That's what you said.
Been in my head, have you? Had a little peek at my past? And what? A few stolen memories tell you everything you need to know, do they? Don't you dare patronize me! You don't know a god's damned thing about the life I've led! The bastards that killed him. The bastards that let it happen. My father deserved better! I swore I'd do whatever it took to make them pay!
Yeah. Now what? Oh, guess she's saying me.
You. All that power. All that pain. It's too much. Too much for anyone. The things they've done to you. The lies. The betrayal. The endless fighting. Yet there you stand. Unbroken. How? Why?
Those I have lost, for those I can't even reach the top shelf. What?
Damn you. Damn you all.
You still have time, Fordola. Think about how you want to spend it. Let's go.
Oh. 1 sec, I'm gonna be right back. Yeah, I'm back. Not sure how to feel about Fordola. On one hand, like, obviously, I get it. I get she had a really horrible experience. But none of that was right. But just kept sort of digging around grave, you know? Dilemma, yeah. Yeah, it seems like it might be trying to talk about difficult subjects now. The capacity to experience such visions of the past had always seemed to me to be a most desirable talent, but I see now that it is as much a burden as a blessing. Ironvald? Sorry about that. I let my emotions get the better of me. It's just that she and I are of an age, and we're neither of us one thing or another. I can't help but feel like she's my problem to solve. Oh, Ironvald, no, don't do that to yourself. You're better than that. Maybe that's what Fordola needs too. Echoes of an echo. Lisa's in thought. Or Lisa's lost in thought. I don't know that we solved anything exactly, but we've given Fordola something to think about at least. And I found something new to think about too. I don't know about you, Somimi, but the visions only come to me every now and then. From the way Fordola kept wincing, though, I get the feeling she's having them almost all the time. That's a lot of bad memories to deal with. God. Side stories in the Lodestone? Oh, those things. Like specifically the Stormblood ones, because I know there's a bunch of them. I could make maybe a stream of that, like start off a stream and go through all the ones up to like Stormblood or through Stormblood. Not today probably, but maybe Saturday or something when I have more time. No, I think I'd like to, but like I said, my main goal right now is trying to get ready for Endwalker. But I'll definitely keep that in mind, because that does sound fun to read through those. Alphanu. I wonder, could there be some fundamental difference between one who is born with the echo and one who has been artificially imbued with it? The two of them? Oh? Well, the Immortal Flames have been scouring the research facility ever since the liberation. There's a chance they might have some answers for us. General Alden's there overseeing the investigation. Let's go and pay him a visit, shall we? Oh, that way? Okay, how do I get there? Oh my goodness. The maze. Going the right way. Okay. This is a Notorium guard. General Alden is in Side-Eye. Will you be joining him? I will. Oh, big. Apano? Nordveld come? There he is. Nordveld? Ugh. They should burn this place to the ground and be done with it. Yeah. At least remove all this stuff and... Those bodies? Bury the bodies. Respectfully as possible. Seeing this facility, I'm reminded of what they did to Kral. Yes. Come on, let's talk to Raubon. Raubon? What news? You spoke with Fordola, I take it. Yes, as expected, she didn't say very much, but it wasn't a total waste of time. Arnvold noticed something odd about her. He thinks she might be having visions almost constantly, which is not how the Echo normally works. Have you found anything here which might explain why it's so different for her? We've been hard-pressed just to organize the research materials, let alone study them. To be frank, I'd welcome the science expert assistance, if you have time to lend a hand. Oh. Let's go check out the stuff. Enter checkbot. The device in which Kral was held seems even more ominous now you know its purpose. The surrounding pods are marked Supply Subject, while this one bears the label Master Subject. The Ironworks received a request from the Alliance to analyze these devices. I've been recording everything of interest. Did you notice the labeling? All the pods are designed to drain the aether of the occupants, save that one right there. Unlike the others, the interior has been filled with an array of sensors to measure etheric waveforms. To what purpose, however, I couldn't tell you. Oh, so they like copied her etheric signature or something and like transferred it, potentially? Using the aether from the other subjects? Fallen scrap of parchment. Idle conversation prohibited. Eating and drinking prohibited. The fallen scrap of parchment appears to list facility regulations, but nothing of any interest. Oh. Flame investigator? So many bodies, every one of them a victim of these experiments. Few show any signs of external injury. From what we've been able to determine, they perished from forcible aether extraction. Such a miserable way to die. Ugh. What is that even like? That doesn't sound pleasant at all. I know little and less of science, so any light you can shed on this facility's operations would be much appreciated. Somimi, shall we start with you? Taken in combination with the testimonies of Kral and Thancred, I do begin to see exactly what the Imperials were attempting here. The enhancement procedure entailed infusing a single candidate with aether siphoned from a multitude of supply subjects. As for the master subject, in this case Kral, the patterns of her etheric activity would provide the model upon which they would etherically engineer the candidate's aura. Yeah, so basically what I was saying earlier. In other words, they were trying to recreate Kral's echo. Yeah. I believe so, which would explain our prisoner's present state. Kral is possessed of an unrivaled ability to hear the whispers of the soul, and it seems probable that the procedure engendered the same acute sensitivity in Fordola. Soldiers who guard Fordola, many of them lost friends and family to the skulls. There's a sentry at her door night and day. If she can't help sensing their thoughts and seeing their past... Man. But you don't just see their past, you live it. All the emotions, all the pain, imagine what it'd do to you. You'd never be the same again. Indeed, as you may recall, Ysael was completely transformed by a single glimpse of Racefelger's past. Fordola has been forced to experience the agony of those whose lives she destroyed. The guilt must be unbearable. That explains her request to be executed. Sounds to me like a kind of justice. Regardless, she can suffer on for now. We have more pressing matters to consider. If the results of these experiments have been relayed back to Garlemald, there will be naught to stop the Empire from repeating the trick. They could give the echo to anyone, to an entire legion. We must be ready. We must learn all we can of these godforsaken procedures, and Fordola remains our best source of information. She'll not be getting her wish. Not yet. Right? Keep faith, lass. If you're to convince others to follow you, you must believe what you're telling them. People will respond to passion, but not if it's feigned. I understand. Thank you, General. We should leave the flames to it. Let's go. Arnvald? I never know why I was given the echo, but this makes me want to put it to good use. Alphino? The forcible extraction of aether from a living subject is invariably fatal. How many did die that Ferdola might gain her new abilities? These? I go looking for answers about the Echo and end up getting schooled by Raoban. Yet more evidence that I don't know what I'm doing. It's no wonder people listen to him and not me. General Alden is a veteran of countless campaigns, Lise. You cannot compare yourself to a commander of his experience. I know, but I also know that I couldn't have convinced that mob to give up and go home. It makes me realize how much we rely on his authority, and how much I still have to learn. I wonder what he'll do when everything here is settled. I mean, it's his homeland. After going to the trouble of winning it back, might he not want to stay? It is a quandary which countless refugees now face, to continue the life they built in Ul'dah, or start again in the land of their birth. Somimi, a moment. Oh, Pippin. I am newly returned from Ul'dah with a message from the Sultana. Her Grace desires an audience with you. She understands that you have responsibilities here, but asks that you visit the palace at your earliest convenience. Oh no, not another audience! Well, I must away and attend to other business. Till next time, my friends. No drinks allowed this time. No drinks! An audience with the Sultana, depending on the nature of her consultation. This might be the perfect opportunity to inquire about the General's future plans. What? Yes, we'd all like to know about those. Alphino. But not everyone's as comfortable interrogating royalty as you. Take no notice of him, Somimi. Thank you, Lise. Oh my goodness. None of our business, Alphino. I know I could learn so much from Raoban if he decided to stay, but it's his choice, and I'm not about to try and persuade him. Ul'dah needs him too. Arnvald? In case you're wondering, I'm not planning on staying in Ala Mhigo. Too many bad memories. And besides, I like my new life. Alphino? A Sultana's strings. Alphino's thoughts appear to have turned from adventure to administration. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasures to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Arnvald? I am at your beck and call. I should be getting back to my own tasks. I'll organize a squad to head down into the ruins, and then start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, send Nanamo my regards, Somimi. And ours too, if you please. We shall see you on your return. Ah, man. Okay. Let's go to the... Okay. Purple. Okay. A while. Bartholomew? You are expected, my lady. Please proceed. Here we are again.
Thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy.
So busy.
The liberation of Ala Mhigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel.
Okay.
I speak of Rauban and his future.
Oh, okay, we're talking about that then.
All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Uldar home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Ala Mhigo. And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss.
Oh.
Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Ala Mhigo and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. Whether Rauban chooses to remain in Uldar or return to Ala Mhigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears. Might I have your company for a brief adventure?
Anytime, Nanamo. Oh.
Wonderful. Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
I like Rauban and Nanamo together. I want them to be separated. Where is outside? Oh, all the way. Build. Wait, what? Nobody's dying again. No! It looks so cute. What do you think of Lilira, the merchant's daughter? This is the disguise I don when I wish to leave the palace and observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papa Shan would accompany me, but for this particular outing, I need an advisor, not a minder. And that is why I requested your company. Over the course of your many adventures, you have met people from all walks of life, in every corner of Eorzea, and I would make use of your worldly experience. Now, let us be on our way. Our first destination is Stone's Throw, just beyond the Gate of Nald. There's so much stealth for the pink. Yeah, you might want to go for the color less noticeable. I have to wonder if everyone's just like, act natural, she's trying to hide. Look upon this procession of tattered tents. These refugees camp in squalor, at the mercy of the elements and Thanalan's predators both. The city's mighty walls offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is, and unless blessed by the hand of Nald himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Ul'dah. 20 years have passed since the fall of Ala Mhigo, and 5 since the calamity, yet the plight of the poor has grown more desperate, not less. As Sultana, the blame falls upon me. So your hands have been tied. Yes, my authority is limited, and that is an obstacle I must work to overcome. Shall we press on? I would follow the road to the unholy air. There she is. She is quite easy to spot. It was here, in this wholly unremarkable place, that my mother and father met their doom. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interests in eastern Thanalan, when an untimely rock slide crushed their carriage. To this day, it is not certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Rabon once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' deaths were orchestrated by the Monterists, we could only have brought their hirelings to justice. The true villains, those who plotted to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place our nation in the hands of its citizens. Quite unaware of the consequences of my my actions would have for you and yours, I shudder to think how many goodly souls paid the price of my naivety. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn in the Monterist's damnable games. Forgive me my outburst. You are one of the few people to whom I feel I can speak my mind. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. Ta-da! Let's buddy. What's this? Yeah, it's really nice. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years I simply signed where I was told to sign and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter in my life, for it was during an official visit to the Colosseum that I first met Rabon. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all what I expected. They had pitted the Bull of Ala Mhigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though I was, I would not stand for so obvious an injustice, and demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring which had arranged for Raubahn to die on the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Raubahn had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did. And when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. But as you know, Raubahn is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the blood sands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom, but a seat on the syndicate, and then I had my blade. You okay over there, Cass? Falling asleep? Oh? Oh. Oh. Yay! Raubahn! Raubahn! Oh god, it's playing the fanfare.
Your Grace, you mustn't! The danger is too great! Please, Your Grace, come back! I beg of you!
I don't wanna. I should just.
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Shum.
Oh, no.
Your Grace,
Oh,
I've
okay.
kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Uldar, and so, as tradition dictates, Raubahn Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last.
Oh, they're so cute.
Long live the Sultana!
Imagine.
And long live Uldar!
Oh my god. Magic having 2 arms. Oh no, it'd be nice. Oh. Words cannot well express what that man means. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Shan's love for me is as that of a grandsire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Raubahn, with the authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. He was the only edge which could cut the strings that bound me. Take the pudding. A Sultana's duty. Nanamo seems lost in thoughts of the past. We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan Sworn for long, and there are other places I would visit. To the Arzanath ossuary. When the calamity threatened, Ralbon led the Alliance forces into battle on the plains of Cartano, and I remained here. I prayed with all my heart that Archon Louisoix would have the power to rouse the 12. Since that day, I have made a custom of visiting this shrine during each of my little excursions. Here, I seek the blessing of Thal, reflect upon my choices, and ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as a Sultana. You are rightly celebrated as a champion because you have led the line in 100 battles for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe the measure of a monarch lies in how she leads her people in times of adversity. If I am to be a Sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I have chosen my path, Somimi. With Ala Mhigo now freed from imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Already, many displaced Ala Mhigans seek to begin the long trek home. To facilitate that process, I have made a small contribution, an artisan's school in Ralgar's Reach, for any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, however, it will take years for such training to yield tangible benefits. But we do not have years. These people need shelter and employment if they are to survive, and this time the Ul'dah Treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate the necessary funds is, of course, another question. Why not seek the advice of one who employs refugees? A wise suggestion. Mayhap a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. Its proprietor is a member of the Syndicate, and he is one of the few who pay refugees a fair wage. I wonder, are you acquainted with Godbert Manderville? Nope. Ah, well, he is a most generous man, if something of an eccentric. Let us make our way to the landing, and I will see that word is sent to the Gold Saucer. Godbert should be only too glad to receive us. Good. The airship landing? I have ridden aboard a public airship before, but this shall be my first visit to the Gold Saucer. I must confess to some excitement. To the Gold Saucer. Anima? I had heard descriptions of its splendor, yet I never dreamed it would be so bright and inviting. No, I couldn't possibly. We did not come here to fritter away the royal coin. Godbert will be expecting us. Come, let us head directly to the lounge and ignore these gaudy temptations. Oh my goodness. Animo, oh, you're precious. Precious. Ugh. Say that word for some reason. Fine. Anima? I believe this is where we are to meet Lord Manderville. Shall we sit while we await his coming? My apologies, Your Grace. I have kept you waiting. No apologies are necessary, Godbert. My request was sudden, and you were kind to make yourself available at such short notice. When the Sultana herself comes calling, there is no more important engagement. As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing in Thanolin. You are aware, I am sure, that many of Ala Mhigo's displaced sons and daughters long to return to their newly liberated homeland, and you are also aware of how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on the matter of how it might be best distributed? The unusual circumstances of our meeting, and your Grace's choice of companion, would suggest to me a desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice to you is stop. Taxing Ulda's wealth to save Ala Mhigan refugees is a terrible, terrible idea. You oppose my proposition? Most emphatically. I agree with your Grace that the refugees must have housing and employment, but what profit is there for Ulda in this arrangement? Profit? After all you have done for Girabanya's displaced, I thought you the very last person to seek to benefit from their misfortune. Forgive me, Your Grace, but you appear to be laboring under a misapprehension. It is a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I fear, however, that your stance is one born out of pity. Your intent is to save the refugee, not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely upon it, to expect it. And then we must consider Ulda's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of you spending the nation's coin not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Ala Mhigo, it is unlikely they will applaud your generosity. Surely it is not your Grace's intention to foster new resentments, but to spread goodwill? Indeed. Then any support I pledge to the refugees must promote self-sufficiency, while also serving the interests of the people of Ulda. Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create a far more equitable relationship with the returning Ala Mhigans, even as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of your subjects. You have given me much to ponder, Lord Manderville. I thank you for your candor. Oh. Animal. Oh. Yeah. I'm lagging a bit. Goodness. This lag spike. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's fixed itself finally. A Sultana's resolve. Nanamo appears to be reassessing her plans. Profit. The thought never even crossed my mind. But standing about lamenting my naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Somimi, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? If my attempt at philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Well, ordinarily I would not trust any agent of the East Aldernar Trading Company, but if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I am content to be led by you. You may repay my faith by journeying to distant Kugane and speaking with him on my behalf. Eager though I am to visit those shores, I have not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you will travel as adventurers are wont to do, I shall await your report by the Aetherite in Ul'dah. A fair journey to you, Somimi. And a swift one, if you please. Okay. Scanning. To the bazaar. Lovely music. Greetings. Hancock? But Mimi, to what do I owe the pleasure? Or are you here on business? I beg your pardon. Her Grace the Sultana would have my opinion on how best to invest the wealth of Ul'dah? My dear Somimi, I have you to thank for this recognition, I am sure, and I am flattered that you came to me, truly flattered. But why settle for a lowly apprentice when you could have the master? Upon matters of profit, there is no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lolorito, a man whose morning excursions are said to fill his garter robe with gold? Garter robe? I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you, say, at the Scion's former headquarters in Thanalin. The Waking Sands would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Fare you well, Somimi, and may your dealings prove fruitful. Boy. Yep, back to Ul'dah. Wasting so much gil. Anima? Welcome back, Somimi. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? With Lolorito, and you agreed to this? I am well aware of his standing in the field of business, but I had hoped to keep the monitorists at arm's length, and him in particular. Nay, I cannot live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat with him if I am to rule Ul'dah effectively. Very well, I will meet with Lolorito. Let us go on ahead to the Waking Sands, and prepare for his coming. Already here? Nima? So this is where the Scions first congregated. I've heard many tales, but never had occasion to visit. To work then. The hour of the meeting draws near, and I would gather my thoughts. Pray see to it that we have the appointed room to ourselves.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as an assassination, I fear I can be of little help.
Goodness, guy. mask. Oh my god. Yeah.
You have made your point. It is indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask.
Oh, he's taking off his mask?
There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira? Hmm?
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I am glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lolorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say, I am most eager to hear your proposal.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Ala Mhigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor, together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Uldar and Ala Mhigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Ala Mhigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Uldar. Ha! I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
How swiftly you identified the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
The Saltery.
Ah, yes, that desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld. I know the Saltery and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient. And in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gil.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenar Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well-versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ounce of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Ala Mhigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
deal is struck then.
Oh. That seems to have worked out for the best. So, I fear it will be many years before I feel comfortable taking part in such negotiations. But I shall not complain. We have piqued Lord Lorito's interest and secured his invaluable Thank you, Somimi. I could not have done it without you. Good. Onigiri-yaki. Or onigari-yaki. Hungry. Securing the Saltery. Nanamo is ready to move ahead with her plans. Of course, our course is decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the particulars of the plan. If I could prevail upon you one more time, Somimi, I would ask that you convey the details of our negotiations to Commander Hex on your return to Ala Mhigo. My thanks again. Together we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit the peoples of Ala Mhigo and Ul'dah both. Okay. The Ala Mhigo quarter. Over there. Ironfall? Welcome back, Somimi. How was your audience with the Sultana? Adventurous. In your absence, I have kept myself busy cataloging the riches of the Mad King's trove and calculating its worth in gil. I have some way to go, but the figure is already quite staggering. Muskar? Oh, greetings, Somimi. I'm actually in the middle of reporting to the commander here, so... Please? Somimi, you're back. What did Nanamo... Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about your audience with the Sultana? So Raban says he's going to return to Ul'dah, but she isn't sure he wants to. Tell us something we don't know, but I'm pleased to hear she's committed to helping our refugees come home. And this plan to revitalize the Saltery does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convinced her to seek Lord Lorito's help is another question. After all, that has happened. He is the very last person I would expect her to turn to for advice. But on a more practical note, at least, assuming the interim government elects to accept Ul'dah's proposal, I have one caveat I should like you to include in the bargain. Ala Mhigo must be permitted to cover a portion of the investment. We have a fortune at our disposal, after all, and allowing Ul'dah to provide the entirety of the capital will afford Lord Lorito too much control. Honestly, Alphino, it's like Kugane never happened. What exactly does a ruthless profiteer have to do to earn your trust? But yes, you do make a good point. First things first, though, we need to discuss this proposal with the Saltery's residents. Iskar, how do you fancy explaining the Sultana's plan to your grandfather? I'd like to hear what Wat thinks of the idea before agreeing to anything. Right away, Commander. Would you mind coming along, Somimi? I might need you to fill in the details. Then I shall come as well. Should Wat wish to discuss figures, my knowledge of the nation's finances may prove useful. The sword? Which sword do you mean? Leaving the business of dividing up the treasure to those who know about such things. Not proud to admit it, but every time I see a column of numbers, my eyes glaze over. One of these days, I'll have to ask Alphino to explain it all to me. No, if he bought a sword in Kugane? Did he? I'll have to give Nanamo my thanks next time we meet. With this and everything else that's been happening, it really feels like things are gathering pace around here. Ba-doo. Plus. That way? Eh. More can be done. I still need a lot more. I'm just gonna have to do it off stream one day. So we can check around this corner. South. Southeast. If we go around the other way. Oh. There a wave. There is. Aha! There we go. Oh, okay. Get all the Aether Currents off stream. Because I just have so many left to do. Best. I'm gonna focus on the story now. Leave me alone, Yabby. Go. Whisker? Let's go and see Granddad. He's going to want to hear this. Now for now. Ideally, one would want Ala Mhigo's stake to match Uldah's gil for gil, in combination with a cast-iron contract that should serve to prevent Lolorita from making off with all of the profits. What? What manner of mischief brings you youngins to Old Wat this time, eh? They want to rebuild the Saltery, Granddad, so maybe tell them about the deal. Well, bugger me, we've never had the coin or the hands to put the place back to how it was. But it sounds like that's about to change. There's just one small wrinkle in your plan. It doesn't account for all the nasties queuing up to eat anyone who goes near the shore. The king used to send soldiers to cull the buggers, but the Imperials weren't about to help the likes of us. Don't worry, Granddad. We'll take care of all that. Commander Hex has been talking about starting up regular patrols, and I'm sure she'd assign me to the lock if I asked. I'd appreciate that, Whiskar, my lad. Truly I would. So does this mean you've gotten better with that blade of yours? I've been trained an eye, but mostly to kill Imperials. You've some experience hunting monsters, don't you, Somimi? Think you could cast an eye over a few of the local beasties and teach me how to deal with them? Huh? Getting carried for aether currents? Oh, like flying around? Well, I appreciate that. And you, be careful. Yeah, I figured it out. You be careful driving home, Cass, okay? Let's not waste any time then. I'll see you by the lock. Whilst you are busy attending to the local fauna, I shall have Master Watt explain to me exactly what is required to restore the saltery to its former glory. Good hunting. Over that way? Let's go. Right then, Somimi, I've got a spyglass here you can use to take a closer look at these pests. Once you've got their measure, you can tell me what to do, and we'll see how well I get on. Search your surroundings for yabbies. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target a yabby and inspect it with the button. Do I need to find its weakness? Closer? Head? Jaw? Yavi's entire body is protected by a hard carapace, but the underside of the head looks soft and vulnerable. Ah, looks like you found a Yavi. They say hitting their shells like smacking a rock. Any suggestions? Soft underside of the head. Vulnerable under the head. Are they? Right. Alright then. Wish me luck. You can do it. Hey! Sounded good. Thanks, Somimi. I did just as you told me, and the wavekin went down like a sack of popotos? Popotos? Let's find something else. I think I can handle the yabbies now. So we should try something different. What else is out there? So we're going for faux beds. Faux beds? Up. The eye. Gobet's hands are large and powerful, but destroying its crystallized core should render the salt golem inanimate. You sense power pulsating from behind its brow. Ugh, Bobed. How do I defeat one of those? Destroy the core within its brow. Inside its head, is it? I'll try to stab it right between the eyes then. Okay. It melted. Not easy fighting with the liberator of Ala Mhigo watching your every move. But I got the job done. Thanks for the advice, Somimi. I feel a lot better prepared for my patrols now. Anyway, we should head back to the Saltery before Granddad starts to worry. I've been snipped into pieces and fed to Ayabi's hatchlings. Back to the Saltery. Whisker? Zarya but tell Granddad how the hunt went. It'll set his mind at ease. Alphino? For the merchants of Ul'dah, a well-constructed contract is both sword and shield, and Wat must understand this if we are to meet them on an even field. Speaking of battles, does Whiskar seem equal to the task of thinning the Loch's monster population? He certainly seemed eager enough. What? I see you've returned in one piece. Dealt with those beasties then, did you? I fought them myself after a bit of instruction from Somimi here. Once I've shared what I've learned with the others, we should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad. A fine young man you've become, Whiskar. A fine young man indeed. Too often of late I hear tales of folk over in the city, drunk on victory and hungry for revenge, their heads stuck firmly in the past. But we need to set our sights on the future, on things which will improve our lot, things like getting the Saltery ready to welcome our long-lost countrymen. Alphino? A blissful arrival. Alphino seems satisfied that he and Wat are of one mind. Seems Whiskar has the Saltery's security well in hand. I, meanwhile, have discussed the next steps with Master Wat, and completed my inspection of the site. With a little work, the vacant buildings here could be made into very presentable dwellings. Message from General Alden. Apologies for the interruption, miss, but the General would speak with you at your earliest convenience. Do not feel obliged to wait around on my account. I will remain here to hammer out the finer details with Wat, and act as an intermediary with our business partners in Ul'dah. You should go. General Alden asked that you wait for him by the main gate in the Ala Mhigo quarter. My apologies again, miss. Fare you well. Oh. Pray leave the administrative tasks to me. General Alden will be waiting. That Alphino's a bright lad, isn't he? I told him that what we'd need to repair the place, and he tallied up the total cost on the spot. And it weren't a small number, either. Whiskar? I'll ask Commander Hex to assign a squad to patrol the Saltery's harvesting and fishing spots. I'll be sure to tell them what you told me. Okay.
Apologies for the wait.
Worries?
People are screaming for the butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far. But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Arenvald and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
What?
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius, the fugitives who conspired with Captain Ilberd in the Crystal Brave's betrayal. Aye, well, it would seem they followed him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the resistance fighters prior to the Griffin's infernal ritual.
Ugh.
Were it in your hands, how would you punish these men?
Oh. I don't consider execution ever an answer, so execution is not the answer. Hard labor in the saltery, though.
You would spare these animals? Yours is a more merciful brand of justice than mine.
I wouldn't say that.
In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard. Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me.
Okie dokie.
I bear a share of the blame for Ilberd's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Ala Mhigo liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did. Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't.
Can't blame yourself for
But even
that.
after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Ala Mhigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness. Which means my work here is done. Soon I will return to Uldar and take my place at the Sultana's side.
Oh.
Father...
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay.
Everyone knows.
The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword.
Oh my goodness. What?
But I pledged my blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
Is this truly what you want, Father?
It is. Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain. Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
I mean, if that's what you want, but... I mean, I want Nanamo and Raban to stay together, but... you gotta do what's best for you. I mean, living in separate cities doesn't mean they have to be, like... I was just on my way to the saltery. It's lucky I saw you. Pippin? Arenvald seems flustered. Something is amiss. Raban? That took longer than I intended. But at least you know where I stand. Now that's settled. Arenvald, what news? We may have a problem, sir. Excuse me. A group of Anada has arrived at the main gates, and I don't mean the Vera. These are Kelyana, the ones that summoned the Primal. They're insisting they be allowed to attend the council. Lisa's trying to reason with them, but she may need help. An invitation was extended to all of the native beast tribes, but we assumed the Kelyana would refuse it out of hand. We'd best go and see for ourselves. Pippin, take command of our forces and be ready for battle. Somimi, you've dealt with these Kelyana before, and I'd have you at my side. Okay, let's go. All the way over there. All the way up. North. Nope. Not really the way. Ouch. Go up those. Oops. Me alone. Eesh. No. Unless they always attack me. Go away. Okay, there we go. Peace. Somimi, Raban, gods, it's good to see you. Ah, the Slayer has come. We have not forgotten how you sinned against the Lady of Bliss. But we did not come here to shed blood. You claim to seek harmony with all who call Girban your home. If this is truly your wish, you will welcome us as envoys of the Ananta. It is our wish, and you are welcome, but we cannot condone the summoning of primals. If you want to enter the palace, I must ask that you first surrender any crystal jewelry. You have my word that it will all be returned to you when the meeting is over. We will do as you ask, but you will not have our weapons. We are not so foolish as to place ourselves entirely at the mercy of our tormentors. I reckon that's the closest we're going to get to a compromise, and we will have people standing guard. I let them keep their swords. Then we have an agreement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber. Oh, what? Still cutscene? Why do I have the feeling we've welcomed a Viper into our midst? Oh, that looks strange. Ironvault? Turning the Kailana away now would have made a mockery of Lisa's promise to give everyone a say. She couldn't not let them in. Turn of the Bull. Raban seems unconvinced by the Kailana's sincerity. The Kailana's elder's intentions seem at odds with all we know of her tribe. What think you, Somimi? The enthralled cannot be trusted. Aye, it is said that once a creature has fallen under the sway of a primal, there is no salvation, and I strongly doubt the Kailana have suddenly broken free of Lakshmi's will. Whatever the truth, I would take no chances. The guard must be strengthened, ideally with people who know a thing or two about primals. Can we rely on the scions? I'll round up our comrades and send them to the Ala Mhigo quarter. You can go on ahead if you like, Somimi. My thanks. I'll see you in the palace. Okay. Be right back, guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Somimi, I brought reinforcements. Arnveld told me of the arrival of our unexpected guests, and I agreed that it would be prudent to call upon Y'shtola and Thancred as well. One can never be too careful when dealing with the enthralled. I'm not familiar with the Kailana tribe myself, but Alice's report suggested that they shunned contact with other races. Despised it, in fact, even compared to other Ananta. Indeed, this apparent reversal in attitude is most curious. No one expected a response to our invitation, much less an envoy, and I imagine Lise was forced to make some rather hasty arrangements in order to accommodate them. Speaking of which, how should we deploy ourselves? If the meeting is to be held in the throne room, 'twould seem wise to have eyes both inside and outside the palace. Y'shtola and I can stand guard without. That leaves the three of you to keep watch over proceedings in the throne room itself. Understood. We should join General Alden inside then. Somimi, do you know of the rear entrance to the palace? It is on the eastern edge of the city, at the top of the stairs. The guard there should have been instructed to let us pass. Okay. Oop. Okay. There. I think after this quest, I'm gonna get off for the night. See how long it lasts. Nope, wrong one. Arnvald. The rear entrance to the palace is just up these steps. The guards should wave us through. Alphino? If we could somehow come to an understanding with the Kailana, it would represent a great step toward resolving the primal dilemma in Ala Mhigo. I only hope they are sincere in their intention. Assistance guard? Here with the science, miss. General Alden left orders that you were to be escorted inside. If you'll follow me. Yep.
Thank you all for coming. I am Lys Hext, and I speak for the Resistance. Among you are village elders, refugee leaders, envoys from the Ananta and the Kikern. You've come from every corner of Girabania to help decide the future of Ala Mhigo. But before that, I want to ask you a question. What was the first thing you noticed when you came in? For me, it was that empty throne. It has no one to sit on it now. No viceroy, no king. Would any of you like to take their place? Or should someone else sit there? Then let's sit here in a circle, as equals, and I hope, as friends.
Expertly done. Lys has removed monarchy as a choice early in the game, and positioned them to consider a joint government. All things considered, I would say events have got off to a fine start.
Me?
And that is Alagana's stance on the matter.
Thank you, Ragenfred. Another vote in favor. Next, let's hear from Shanti of the Kaliana. Tell us, how do your people feel about the idea of a republic?
The Ananta wish only that those who dwell within Girabania devote themselves to our faith. You shall all worship Sri Lakshmi! Lady of Bliss, grace us once more with your beauteous visage!
Ow. Again.
This can't be happening. No crystals were allowed through the door.
We can worry about the how of it later. We need to evacuate these people right now, or the Primal will make thralls of them all.
It's up to us.
Oh my goodness. There we go. Oh.
Gods damn it! The guards were already turned!
Ugh.
Fools!
No, you don't!
The Kaliana would see us all enthralled.
Then they're going to be sorely disappointed. We have the Warrior of Light and Arenvol to shield us.
Aye, but the Count well defend your guests and attack the Primal, can they? We're stuck on the back foot.
All right, I think I have an idea. Keep these people safe, General. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Whatever she's about, she'd best make it quick. Come then. Who will be next to die on my steel?
Okay. Have to deal with a primal again. Oh. Man. Okay. How do we fight her without leaving our allies wide open? We can't stay on the back foot forever. No, damn it, if I think like that, well, we've already lost. I have the Warrior of Light on my side. We can do this. Isn't that right, Somimi? Duty, action, dissipate Aether. Like an ally to be enthralled. Okay.
I shall free you from your hate!
One hit. Yes.
Damn it all! It's only a matter of time before we miss one.
Yep.
What of it? Do you want to kill this thing or not?
Okay, there we go. You forgot about Lecture? Good to see you back, Cass. Yeah. Rather sudden, isn't it? just need to go away. Okay, there we go. That's it. Oh. Ah, fetch. Active maneuver. Where's my... Let me go! Okay.
Do not your souls weigh heavy? This again? Oh. Someone doing a limit break? Is there gonna long cast?
There we go. I was worried for a second. I'd fail the duty. Let's see. You okay, Arnvald?
We did it! We beat her!
Hmm? Hold on. Oh, more visions.
What is this?
Hey, have fun driving, Cass.
I'm only gonna say this once. The Ananta just summoned their primal in the throne room. My friends are fighting her, but they need help. They need someone with the Echo, and by the gods, I wish I had it, but I don't. I told you before that you still had time, but things have changed. I need your answer now. You can end it like Xenos, or you can fight for Ala Mhigo. Your choice.
Seven hells. It's her, the butcher.
Freaking looks so sad. Visions.
It's done. Take me back to my cell.
You are not forgiven. Not you. You I will never forgive. But I will thank you. For standing against a primal and saving us from servitude. You have my thanks.
Grunwald? That was unlike any battle I've ever seen. I'm not entirely sure how I survived it, to be honest. Raban? One wrong step and I would have lost my will to that fiend for the rest of my days. 'Tis a sobering thought. Alphino? Lisa's certainly living up to her own ideal. Not every commander would choose to enlist a former enemy's aid in battle. Stola? I think I shall make a habit of checking for primal influence before our meetings from now on. Linkard? We encountered our fair share of enthralled outside the palace, enough to delay us from lending you a timely hand, I'm afraid. Yes? Well fought, Somimi, Arnvald. That was a near thing. Aye, our stand against the Kaeliana would have been brief indeed had you not volunteered for guard duty. We'd be enthralled as surely as our sentries were. They must have planned this far in advance. Security was my responsibility, and I know how dangerous primals can be. I should have... Gah, it's my fault, my stupid mistake. Nay, lass, we were all caught unawares. We will take this as a lesson, and watch our own more carefully in the future. You can be sure that the lackeys who smuggled the crystals into the throne room weren't the only thralls in our ranks. The soldier who first spoke up in favor of the Kaeliana keeping their weapons springs to mind. The primal servant is betrayed by his aura. If you mean to conduct an investigation, I can identify any others acting under Sri Lakshmi's influence. Thanks, Justola. We'd appreciate the help. Speaking of help, I almost fell over when Ferdola turned up. What was she even doing here? I asked her to come. Well, that explains it then. It's sad, but Ragnfried was right. Her victims will never forgive her for what she's done. But I don't think Ferdola picked up that sword looking for forgiveness. She wanted to fight for her country. You say the world in which Ferdola grew up is partly to blame for what she became, then as an Ala Mhigan, I feel responsible for improving that world. We can't ignore what's happening right now. We have to show people a better way than vengeance, or we risk giving birth to a new generation of skulls. I know it's idealistic, but I want to help people to let go of their old grievances and make peace with each other. And I'll hold 1,000 meetings and talk till I'm blue in the face if that's what it takes. It's a long and arduous path you have chosen, but one well worth walking. Rest assured that I will do what I can to help you reach your destination. Thank you, Alphino. The first step will be to get our representatives back in the throne room. They're a little shaken, but not one of them seemed ready to run. We're all determined to finish what we started. I will see that you're not interrupted. Somimi, you and the Scions are to stand down. Get some rest. You've earned it. Pretty night sky. In a garden, no less. Ah.
A fine spot to contemplate the heavens.
Right?
The meeting is over. The envoys have chosen to instate a government model on Ishgard's House of Commons, a ruling body of representatives elected by the people. It is a fair decision, and one which signals the end of my part in all this. But I would gaze upon Girabania's stars one last time before I leave.
Oh. No.
Forget something?
No.
Your Grace, there was no word.
Rabon Aldin, you are hereby dismissed as General of the Immortal Flames and relieved of your seat on the Syndicate.
And I wanted them to stay together, but maybe they could be long distance. Oh man.
But, Your Grace.
Oh.
Rabon, I am no longer a child. Stay here in your homeland. Work with your brethren. Rebuild Ala Mhigo.
You desire to stand alone. I understand, but remember what happened.
Oh.
I remember full well the consequences of my naivety, and thus did I consult at length with a most trusted advisor ere I embarked upon this course.
A most trusted advisor? And what of me? Am I no longer deserving of your confidence?
Oh. Oh no.
What trust can there be between us when you withhold the truth from me?
Oh no, don't make the cry noise.
Did you think me oblivious to the anguish in your eyes when you spoke of returning to Uldar?
Oh no, not the cry
Years
eyes.
and years,
Oh
we
no.
have trusted one another. Yet now you refuse to confess your heart's desire?
Oh.
I swore an oath to you that day on the sands. I pledged my sword.
And it has served me well. But in Pippin you have forged a new sword, as sharp and deadly as the blade you bequeathed him. I will show you a Sultana who can wield every weapon at her disposal, including Lolorito and his militarist cronies.
Oh.
So follow your heart, please. You are home. You are free.
Nanamo.
Oh.
Smile for me, Rabon. I would have this parting be a joyous one.
Not parting forever. You're gonna be allies in the Alliance. And you'll see each other, and it'll
Thank you,
be
Your Grace.
just as good.
An honor to serve you and Uldar.
Oh.
Tomorrow you will serve Ala Mhigo and fight for the good of all Eorzea. Am I understood?
Yes, Your Grace.
Oh. Well. You know, Arnvald is of an age with Verdola, both of them born Ala Mhigan. One never wanted his Garlean blood, and the other tried to become Garlean but could never be. similar yet opposite, which would go some way to explaining the tension between them. The tension, Alphino? What are you thinking about? Arnveld. I want to see Ferdola in her cell again. Or I went to see Ferdola in her cell again. She did turn the tide of the battle after all, and I thought it only right to thank her. But she wouldn't listen. Said she neither wanted nor needed my gratitude, and that I should go away. I don't know if I'll ever understand her. Ah, that is the way. Niece?
Thanks for shielding us from Lakshmi, you two. If you hadn't been there, the rest of us would be worshipping her by now.
You're kind to include me, Lise, but we both know who did most of the work. I could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow. No shame in admitting it. The Warrior of Light has put far better men than me in the shade.
Did I mention that I encountered the Sultana in the palace? It would seem Her Grace has come to Girabania to oversee the final stages of her relocation project.
I don't know. Little other
She was
thing.
in search of General Oldin, and I directed her to the rooftop garden. I do hope he was still there.
Are you in the habit of gossiping about the affairs of royalty, Master Leveilleur?
Oh no. Okay, see you in a bit, Cass.
Certainly not, Your Grace. I was merely informing my companions.
Be at ease, Alphino. 'Twas only a jest.
Oh my goodness. Now she's jesting.
But I must yield the floor to Rauban. He has an important announcement to make.
As of yesternight, I have been relieved of my post in the Immortal Flames and the Syndicate both.
The shock.
I shall be assuming my father's duties. And may I say that Tizona has never felt heavier upon my back.
Oh, Pippin, you'll do great.
Twould seem I am in need of employment. Mayhap one of my old acquaintances can introduce me to a mercenary company or some such.
Oh my goodness. He is so the awkward
You may be
dad.
getting on in years, father, but you'd struggle to find a band of sellswords who wouldn't snap your hand off. Your remaining hand.
Yes, the bull of Ala Mhigo need not be put out to pasture just yet.
Oh my goodness.
Your Grace has developed a wicked edge to her humor, and you, Pippin, would do well not to laugh when the future may hold the same for you.
Oh my god. They're still so shocked.
So, does this mean you're staying?
Aye. That seems to be the way of it. I would be glad to aid you in rebuilding our nation, if you'll have it.
Got him indeed.
If, he says. Welcome home, Rauban.
Oh.
Well, that was unexpected. Though you seem distinctly unsurprised.
I might have, like, you know, listened in on a conversation last night.
Either you are more astute than I give you credit for, or I'm losing my touch.
It's okay,
In any
I'll
event,
know.
one thing is certain. Ala Mhigo will rejoice at the homecoming of her dearest son.
No. Bum. Okay, and well, Rabon is the veteran of 100 battlefields. Lise couldn't ask for a more reliable ally to have at her side. Alphino? Lise must be overjoyed to know that General Alden is staying, though I suppose I shouldn't call him General anymore. Pippin? I must assume Father's responsibilities without delay, lest our rivals, both inside and outside Ul'dah, treat his dismissal as a window of opportunity. Rest assured, they will find Tizona's edge just as sharp in my hands. Anima? I have asked enough of you, Somimi. My only words for you now are those of gratitude. Albot? It seems my road has come full circle. I appreciate the support you showed for my earlier decision, overruled though it was. What support? Eh? I don't know. I think it's about time I headed back to Ralgar's Reach. What's next for all of you? Alice will be eager to hear of recent events, so I shall join you, if you've no objections. I'd welcome the company, Somimi. Why don't you come along to the Reach as well, once you've said your farewells to Nanamo and the others? Upon completion of this quest, you'll be able to access the palace. Ah, cool. Nanamo? Yeah, okay. So... Yep. Ralgar's Reach. After this one, I'm gonna be getting up. I swear. I need to go do some things. Today. I want to finish this set of quests. Okay. So many new quests here. One day I will get to them. Okay. Peace. Well, here we are again. Alphino has regaled me with a thrilling tale of hidden treasure troves, mid-meeting betrayals, unlikely alliances, and joyous homecomings. It would seem I missed everything. I was patrolling the palace grounds with Thancred and Y'shtola when we heard the report of a primal in the throne room. I honestly doubted my own ears. As others have said, we were lucky to have our Echo-blessed champions nearby this time, but we'll need to keep a closer eye on the Kalyana. You could say that again. This whole episode has reminded me just how far apart our kinds still are. Looks like centuries of fear and mistrust really can't be washed away in a day. But someone has to make an effort at reconciliation if these conflicts are ever going to end. Naturally, a lot of people are crying out for vengeance, but I've been doing my best to calm things down. Violent reprisals will only lead to more summonings. Indeed, violence will ever beget violence, as the Empire has learned to its cost in recent times. In any case, summoning Lakshima was the Broodmother's doing, and whoever replaces her might not be so keen on the idea. We'll just have to watch and wait. Which isn't to say we won't be putting the safety of our allies in the Vera and M tribes first. I plan to have Resistance scouts keep track of the Kalyana's movements at all times. My parents will be relieved to hear that. What are your plans for the rest of the Resistance army, out of interest? Are we to prepare for Imperial counterattacks? That would be a question for the Resistance's newest recruit, a military commander with far more experience than me. What, the Bull of Ala Mhigo? Actually, yes. We call it an army. But the Resistance is really a collection of smaller independent groups, and when Conrad passed his command on to me, that authority only extended to the freedom fighters based in Ralgar's Reach. He just happened to be serving as the Resistance spokesman at the time, and needed someone to take over the role while everything was in disarray. But that time has passed. When I speak with the other leaders about reforming the army under the new government, I'll be nominating Ralbon as the overall commander of our forces. He has more experience than the rest of us put together, and we stand to learn a lot from him. Indeed, he is in all respects the ideal choice, assuming he accepts the post. Ala Mhigo will have added a formidable weapon to its arsenal. And given the progress of Nanamo's resettlement initiative, I see great cause for hope. The siege which we so carefully sowed have begun to quicken, my friends. I like that. We tend to our promises and watch as Ala Mhigo blooms. That's a nice thought. Ba, 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 ba. Cutscene? Oh. Gosetsu! I do give thanks to the kami that my makeshift raft withstood the fury of the seas. But there their generosity ended. Without coins in our pockets for new attire, we are doomed to look like so much jetsam. Oh, woe betide the poor man in a city of rich merchants. These dango are delicious. Will you have one? More sweetbreads? I surrendered my blade to secure what few coins we have. You okay over there, Cass? Oh my goodness. What is this person? Bah, 'tis like talking to a child. Why fate saddled me with this burden I shall never know, but I am alive, and I must return to my master's side. Oh my goodness. Come, Suyu. We shall find a ship to carry us across the Ruby Sea. Did you already eat 2 of those things? What is going on between these two? I am so confused. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. Have you read the reports? First Doma, then Ala Mhigo, and Lord Zenos put to the sword. Do not believe everything you read. I hear the Viceroy was merely wounded, and that he has already returned to the capital. Naturally, the savages beat their chests and boast loudly of taking his head, regardless. Hey, Lord Zenos lives? Deplorable that our own officers should be fooled by Eorzean misinformation. Small wonder the provinces have begun rising up in rebellion. We must prepare an official and above all accurate announcement to quell these pernicious rumors. Why do they think Zenos is alive? They would wage war with empty words? Let them produce the Viceroy's remains then. We shall soon put the lie to their claims. Oh, who's this? Angry about something. Kadoki. Okay, I'm gonna end it there. I need to get off for the night. Thanks so much everyone for watching. Thanks Cass for hanging out. I hope it was fun. Well, I will be back on at about 7 p.m. tomorrow, like usual. And hopefully we can get even further into post-Stormblood. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for us to complete it, but I'm really excited to get the Shadowbringer stuff. So, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.